Lando Norris broke his silence after the Hungarian Grand Prix, and his message was loud and clear. After ending an 11-race winless streak, the reigning world champion has sent a warning to every team on the Formula One grid. McLaren is back, Norris is back, and he believes this is only the beginning. While he didn't literally say, "You are not equal to me," his confidence and performance made one thing obvious: he's ready to fight for the championship again. So, has Lando Norris just reignited the 2026 title battle? Let's break it all down. To understand why today matters so much, you have to go back to November 2025. Lando Norris became Formula One world champion at just 25 years old, the youngest British champion in the sport's history. After a title fight that went down to the final rounds, it was the kind of win that only comes from knowing you've earned every point of it. Then 2026 happened. New regulations, a brand new car in the MCL 40, and almost every driver on the grid struggled to unlock it from day one, Norris included. McLaren still scored points, but the dominance that carried them to the championship was gone. Race after race, the narrative in the paddock started writing itself. The reigning champion who couldn't defend his title, the driver who had already peaked. 8 months, 11 races, 0 wins. That's the drought Norris was carrying into Hungary. McLaren didn't hide what they were doing at the Hungaroring. This was the venue they'd chosen to bring their first major 2026 upgrade package, and the results showed up immediately. Norris was fastest in FP3, then he took pole position, his first pole of the entire season, and the first pole from a non-Mercedes car all year. What made it even more impressive is that the team barely changed anything between practice and qualifying. Norris identified a shift in wind direction that was costing them time in sectors 2 and 3, adjusted his approach and beat Hamilton by just 12 thousandths of a second, a margin that would have handed Ferrari their first pole of the year if it had gone the other way. For the first time in 2026, the reigning world champion was starting a Grand Prix from the front row. The race itself didn't go to plan right away. Norris ran wide at turn 2 on the opening lap and lost the lead to teammate Oscar Piastri. For the next 33 laps, Piastri led while McLaren operated under what's internally known as papaya rules, the unwritten principle that team strategy bends toward whichever McLaren driver is out front. Norris wasn't happy about it, and he said so on team radio. When Piastri pitted for fresh tires on lap 33, the team told Norris to stay out rather than pit at the same time and risk the undercut. He extended his stint, built a tire offset, and trusted the plan. Before his own stop, with degrading tires and Piastri still ahead on the road, Norris told his engineer something bold: he'd pull out a 10-second gap, even with worn rubber. His engineer didn't exactly jump to agree, but when Norris came back out on fresh tires, the numbers matched his prediction almost exactly. He came out ahead of Piastri and was never caught again. That's not luck, that's a driver reading his car better than his own team in real time. On lap 56 of 70, Oscar Piastri pulled off track with a gearbox failure while running second. A virtual safety car came out, but by that point Norris already had a 15-second cushion. McLaren's head of racing, Andrea Stella, was clear afterward that the retirement didn't decide the race. Norris had already won it on raw pace. Piastri's exit was just confirmation of something the timing screens had been showing since lap 40. It marked Norris's first win of the 2026 season, and it snapped the longest winless streak of his career. This is where the story stops being just a race result. On the podium, Norris didn't just celebrate, he made a statement. He said the team had worked hard to put him back in a position to win, and that this was just the beginning. He said he wanted the pace they showed in Hungary to continue through the rest of the season. Then he addressed the 11-race gap directly. He said he now felt the confidence of a world champion, not the weight of someone defending a title out of fear. That's a real distinction. A champion who's scared of losing drives differently than one who knows he's already proven himself. In Budapest, the second version of Norris showed up, the one who tells his engineer he's about to pull out a 10-second gap on dead tires, and then actually does it. Analysts noticed too. Coverage of his radio messages that day described them as showing the confidence of a world champion on full display, not a comment about a lucky win, but an observation about a genuine shift in how he's operating under pressure. Asked directly whether Hungary was a one-off or the start of a real title push, Norris didn't hedge. He said McLaren now has the tools to compete, that the upgrade gave them something real, and that the plan is to keep building on it race by race. Right now he sits 5th in the championship, 50 points behind Antonelli. That sounds like a lot until you remember what the standings looked like just 3 months ago when Hamilton was second and only 25 points back. Russell was closing in, and Red Bull was stuck down in 11th. This championship has shifted dramatically before, more than once. Antonelli has 6 wins this season, but he's also retired from the lead twice and made costly errors in Austria and Silverstone that cost him 25 points. Those are the kinds of mistakes that get punished hard over a full season, especially once a rival starts stacking podiums and wins consistently. Now he's facing a McLaren that's finally working properly, with Norris at his best. Backed by an upgrade package the team has already said is only the first of several steps. That part matters more than people give it credit for. McLaren didn't describe Hungary as a peak, they called it a starting point. If more upgrades land and Norris keeps extracting everything the car offers, that 50-point gap could shrink faster than anyone expects. Championships have been won from bigger deficits than this before, and there's still well more than half the season left to run. Here's the real story in the numbers. Norris won 11 races on his way to the 2025 title. He won 0 in the first half of 2026. That gap was never about his speed, it was about the car underneath him. The MCL 40 at the start of the season was a completely different machine than the MCL 39 at its peak, and Hungary is the first real evidence that the gap is closing. What's different heading into the second half of the season is that Norris now knows exactly what this upgraded car can do. He's raced it. He's won with it. He predicted his own margin before it even appeared on the timing screens. That's not something you fake. The summer break gives McLaren 3 weeks to keep pushing this development. When the season resumes at Zandvoort on August 23rd, every team on the grid will be looking at that McLaren garage a little differently, because in Budapest, Lando Norris didn't just end a losing streak. He made it clear the champion who'd gone quiet was never gone. He was just waiting for the right car. He says he has it now. So what do you think? Did Lando Norris just reignite the 2026 title fight, or is Hungary a one-off? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns like this one, make sure you're subscribed.